hold just a little resentment towards my family. Because you mean to tell me nobody thought to start building generational wealth? No businesses to pass down, no trust fund, not even a little savings account with $20 and a good luck note? Nothing. Like, what were they doing all these decades? Just vibing and making babies? Now we out here trying to figure it out. And now I'm stressed trying to figure out if I should be the one to break the curse and leave something behind for the next generation, or if I should just mind my business, enjoy my life, and let them fend for themselves like we have to do.
Attention, player haters and overrated disbelievers of all kinds. I stand before you today 10 toes down as the bearer of bad news. Y'all done fucked up.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Generation wealthy versus generational wealth. Some of y'all tripping. Some of you young adults are tripping. You know, some of y'all, you supposed to be, you grew up in the information age. You're the most educated. Y'all think y'all the smartest. And y'all say, and we have this dumb ideology. So let me get this right. You should have generational wealth because you should have businesses and trust funds. Because what? Like, seriously, what? Because of what? So my parents grew up in Jim Crow at the end of it. My grandparents grew up in Jim Crow the whole time, right? So I grew up in quote unquote the crack era. And a lot of y'all thinking generational, we should have generational wealth. No, we shouldn't. There are some people who made money, who had businesses, who was able to pass down stuff, but don't get it twisted. Some of y'all are generation wealthy. See, some of y'all in this current time period, some of you cats asking for generational wealth grew up better than the generations prior to you. That's the reality of it. You grew up in a better home. You ate better. You went to better schools. You you got more. You got invested in more. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. You got the generational wealth argument when you had good parents, and you got the generational wealth argument when you got bad parents. Too many of you cats with good parents are complaining. Okay? Because your parents invested in you heavily. What did you do with all of that investment? Not much. Not much. See, and this is where we got to talk about the wealth conversation. I would say in this era, people have over invested in their kids and teenagers. And then their kids and teenagers become adults and they go, well, you need to invest in me as an adult. And it's like, you know what? I gave you the best I could give you to get you to a platform to be up and running. But I get it. I should have held everything back and just gave it to you as an adult. You get what I'm saying? That's the issue. Some of y'all are bad parents in the sense of, I'm gonna give my kid everything I ain't have. And your kid wind up with everything you didn't have. And guess what else they didn't have? Drive, ambition, because they got everything they wanted. So now when it's time to be an adult, they want you to pay for them to be an adult, just like you. You know what you didn't have, since you into doing things for me because things weren't done for you. You didn't have your parents paying your bills. You should be the parent paying my bills. Didn't you want that? It's like, wait a minute now. Now your kids 25, 28, 30 talking about, I should have generational wealth. I should have a business. You can't even wake up in the morning on time. You can't keep a job. but you want a business. You want a trust fund, but you materialistic. You ain't gonna do nothing with it. See, we don't talk about that part. That generational wealth is actually for when you grown. Since y'all want to get biblical, you know, you leave an inheritance to your kids, right? That means you're dead. Your kids don't get nothing, really. Your grandkids do. So now you want your grandparents, when they pass away, to give you generational wealth. And I hate to break the news to y'all, a lot of grandparents, like I said, grew up in Jim Crow. Well, some of these grandparents are Gen X, so don't get it twisted. You know, I got to see the years on Gen X, as a matter of fact, because that might be the end of Jim Crow. The oldest Gen Xers might have been there at the end of Jim Crow. Generations. Let's see. Uh, I hate when they do that and they don't do about a year. So Gen X is actually right at the end of Jim Crow. 965 to 80. It used to be 64 to 79, but whatever. Um, but getting back to the subject, the lecture at hand, right? Now we're gonna get into this conversation where this needs to be talked about. There are people who want this white or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ideology, and it's not true. You want to talk about generational wealth? Look at the Cosby Show again. Look at it again. They gave their kids generational opportunities for wealth, and most of them squandered it. That's what people are turning into. Most of the people, when y'all think these white kids get all this stuff, most of them white kids who get generational money, they're losers. They don't do anything. They blow it all. They squander everything because it's all about me, me, me. And I gotta say this also. The thing about generational wealth is this: why would you get generational wealth when your generation ain't producing kids? What do you need the generational wealth for? You ain't passing on the DNA. You ain't passing on the name. You ain't passing on the legacy. You ain't passing on the culture. A lot of y'all not having kids. You're not trying to have kids. So what? So the generational wealth is just supposed to get to you, stop with you. You supposed to, just kick it and blow it all, and then, oh, it happened for me, Lord. No, no. And some of y'all spoiled. Hate to break the news to y'all. We're gonna do it this way. Some of you ladies who had that complaint, boy, you was getting your hair done since you was a girl. $100 a pop, $150 a pop, $200 a pop. You ain't think that didn't add up? Some of y'all was getting the purses and the clothes and the accessories and trips, and we got to take care of our baby. Y'all was spending other people's money all willy-nilly, and then you got grown. You was like, I should still be able to spend the family's money. Where's my generational wealth? And then they realized this heifer ain't gonna do nothing with her life but use us for money. You know, and we've seen it before with past generations. They inherited stuff and squandered it. Yes, they got houses, sold them. They got land, sold it. Some people got it actually stole from them. They didn't sell it; they got it stolen, and they had to go the whole court proceeding type situation. But other people's got cash, spent it. Because I deserve it. I deserve generational wealth from Papa and Big Mama. And what you gonna do? I need to feel rich, and then you like, well, what happened to my generation? I'm gonna tell you what happened to it. Your grandparents, let's just say, let me do this. Your great grandparents left generational wealth to your grandparents. Your grandparents blew it, right? Now the grandparents need the kids to take care of the parents, and the parents need to take care of the kids. And then now you want the parent to give that kid generational wealth. So you got they're getting pulled financially in two different directions. Their time is getting pulled in two different directions. And not to mention, the functional part of the family, the dysfunctional part of the family, they spend money completely different. The dysfunctional part of the family spent money to help out the dysfunctional people, and that's where your generational wealth went. The functional people, spent money helping the dysfunctional people, and then they invested in the functional people, and the functional people, because they grew up, in good environments and good neighborhoods, they didn't have the drive to surpass their parents. That's why they say, like, uh, uh, um, they're a generation of adults that will not surpass their parents' class or level of income, because they just didn't have they don't have the drive to do so. So can it be a thing? Yeah, but when you get to that point where, what should I do? Should I get generational wealth and pass it down to nobody? Nobody did it for me. It's like, I understand that. I do understand that. But here's the question. If you got that mindset now, you're gonna assume that people had that mindset about you. So the only difference is you're not having kids, so you won't have the kids to look at you like, what was you doing with my generational wealth? I didn't have you. I didn't want to bring you into a world where I couldn't give you anything, but I wanted everybody else to give me everything. It's crazy. But I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.